exciting episode of the Dispensary Live, where we bring you the latest in cannabis news, culture, and everything in between. My name is Jacob, and I'm joined today by my co-host Trevor. Thank you very much for being here, bud.
Always excited. Always glad to be back.
Live in studio to wrap up 2024, brother. It is white outside, and it is midday. I am not used to this, but
This is your first real probably experience with it. I mean, I know you saw some snow recently, but it's probably the first heavy one.
And even to you, you said this is warm-ups.
Yeah, we definitely will get worse, or typically can get worse. So, but we still made it. We're here. We're putting the show on, and I think we got a good one set up for us. I mean, we can dive right in. We got a bunch of articles. We've got some little videos coming from you of some going-ons that we've been doing as a company. And then we're going to close it out with just some general company talk and industry talk and go from there. So I think one of the first things I would love to dive into is our first article, which was a Snoop Dogg opens THCA company. Pretty exciting stuff. Basically, Snoop Dogg is now diving into his foray with the hemp-derived THCA products, and it's signaling a growing acceptance and mainstream appeal for the industry. Super exciting as a company that sells and produces all kinds of different THCA products. It's nice to see, one, more people jumping into the foray and trying to check it all out and see what it's all about, and also bringing credibility to it. You look at somebody like Snoop Dogg, I think everybody has an image in their head when they think or see Snoop Dogg, and that's his experience with THC and the cannabis industry. So for him to dive in, it is super, super cool, and I think it's a good move across the board.
Who better to refer to than Snoop?
Exactly. I mean, I think of, you can jump off with like Wiz Khalifa, Cheech and Chong. You have the standards, but OG wise, it's Snoop Dogg.
Always has been Snoop Dogg.
Always.
For at least the past 40 years.
Yeah.
Snoop has kind of held his crown almost.
Heavily held it.
And being able to incorporate Death Row Records into his brand now, it's like cannabis and how you say hip hop culture have always been one and one, but
now
Snoop
legitimate.
it's
a
Snoop
legitimate way
rolling out. Hey, I'm going to have a certain standard.
Yep.
Very, very curious to see if that standard is met.
Agreed.
and or if there's like bad actors. Like there are bad actors everywhere, but like there are some pivotal pieces out there that really help the hemp industry stand out when it comes to a regulatory factor of thinking, how are we going to do this? Oh, this company does it this way, aka the dispensary out of Wisconsin, the absolute precedent of how it should be done, or at least trying to help trailblaze how it should be done. And now you got other celebrity notable folks that are going to bring in more eyeballs.
Well, and even in that same context, like you look at somebody who is Snoop Dogg, right? The legacy that's there. If they're going to tie their name to something, they're going to tie it to something that is being done correctly and right. You would hope, right? And that's just going to bring more stability and, again, credibility if that's the system. So I'm with you. I hope it's not just, I want to jump in. But again, when you look at the person who's doing it and their history and their just experience with the industry, I think it's a good thing. I think I hope he comes in, does it all right, looks back at the companies around him that are already doing it the proper way with all the right checks and balances, the testing, the self-regulation that they have, and mirrors that back to produce the best quality product and give it with the best customer service that they can. And my expectations of him would be very high at that point.
Because marketing is going to be no issue for him at all. It's just going to be the delivery of product and service.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of it's funny you bring it up because he is opening an online retail platform for the supplies and to basically get it out to the general public. And with an online distribution side of it, marketing would be everything. Word of mouth, how you get it out to the people to come to your platform to acquire it, So, and when you put the name Snoop Dogg with it, that's going to be a huge leg up right away for him.
Immediately.
Just off the start of it all.
It's really exciting to hear that as far as Snoop getting into the game and possibly even, shoot, we have representation at the U.S. Hemp Roundtable. Who's to say Snoop's not at the U.S. Hemp Roundtable one day with these meetings?
I was in a meeting recently with them, and I couldn't even imagine if I looked up, and in that U.S. Roundtable meeting was Snoop Dogg as a advocate and representative. It would be phenomenal. It'd be about as ideal as you could hope at that point.
Dapper, best dressed Snoop.
It would be great.
Suit and tie.
Oh, just rolling in.
Rolling in like, why are we bugging on this, guys? Come on.
Let's work together.
Let's get it together.
Done. No, that's what I would hope to see, especially with him now taking like the big steps into it all. And is how much of a representative and advocate can he be? So
he's always been an advocate.
Well, I mean, like you look at it in the sense of cannabis sales, right? Mm-hmm. Right now, and how it is the different platforms it's on.
How it's forbidden basically nationwide, except for a few states, even though it's a federally legal product.
Exactly. And his dive into the online retail side of it is setting a precedent. He wants to shape a new aspect of the industry, which we as a company are all for. I love seeing it. I love any type of advancement. And to set a precedent with the digital platform online is great.
It sounds familiar.
It does sound familiar. Like, as a company starting to utilize that, and now to see bigger names bringing more attention to it as even like a legal alternative for getting it, is just going to keep opening up more and more and more doors of opportunity if done correctly, coming back to the bad actor statement. So, no, it's a fascinating time. I love to see the celebrities involved. I mean, you've already seen, we were talking earlier about different celebrities in the game.
Oh my gosh. Wiz Khalifa, I even compiled a list, dude.
Kush,
we got Burner with Cookies, obviously. He collabs with just about every artist out there, from Rick Ross to Meek Mill and just like that. We got Method Man, who has his own Tyco line of cannabis. Jay-Z obviously has his own line. Woody Harrelson and Seth Rogen have their own lines. It is, and I'm willing to bet a lot of them are of the understanding that THCA, whether it is marijuana derived or hemp derived, post decarboxylation process, it is basically the same thing, in which now we're all seeing the benefits of being on the hemp side.
100%. And, you know, we talked in one of our past podcasts about in California, they had opened up a consumption lounge. They were working towards
in Sacramento, as a matter of fact. Shout out, I think his name was Steinberg or something like that.
The mayor.
Yep.
So in that sense, it brings back too, because like even in the same vein of Snoop diving in, he's also diving into a Amsterdam coffee shop and is going to be combining retail and on-site consumption, mirroring what we're already seeing. So
dude.
Now you're starting to see the domino effect of it happening in multiple places, which again, I always think is a good thing. Time will tell. You got to see how it's going to operate on a legal sense, in the recreational sense with the public. And you're never going to see how that actually operates and works if you don't go for it. So when we first talked about that topic on the past podcast, it was already enticing, but now to see it starting to spread is as good as you could hope.
And this is Amsterdam, Europe, or Amsterdam, California, if such place exists. Amsterdam, the motherland of where I grew up hearing, pot's legal in Amsterdam.
Yep. And for you to now get involved there,
an American opening business over yonder, across the pond, that's impressive nonetheless. And if anybody's going to do, of course, it's going to be Snoop Dogg.
Most recognizable face. It comes back to the topic of Snoop is Snoop, and
that's power.
You've seen his experience. In my opinion, might be the most recognizable rapper, hip hop artist alive right now. I mean, Snoop's, it's open for debate, very much open to debate, but
like you could identify Willie Nelson from his silhouette. Exactly. You would identify Snoop Dogg from his silhouette. Yep. Especially with the blunt or joint in the mouth.
Yeah. And I just, again, he's got a huge platform. I think with him now being able to continue to move in a legitimate sense into the industry and use the platform that he has to help with the stigma and the taboo that comes with the industry, it only is a positive if done correctly. So you just have to fall back on the idea that they are doing it correctly. And we will see as time goes on and more information comes out around that. We're going to see how they're operating and how they're doing it out in Cali comparative to here, especially in the sense of the THCA products. And any of our viewers or consumers at our stores would know, it's always a conversation of people coming in saying they want the real stuff. If Snoop Dogg is going to give his stamp of approval and put his name on something in terms of specifying THCA and THCA products, it can be reassuring to the general public, especially for those who love the industry, and are newer to some of the different cannabinoids that are popping out there. So yeah.
And Snoop's stamp of approval comes with a gentleman or woman, whoever he pays, about $50,000 a year to roll blunts for him.
Yeah.
Snoop estimated in 2019 that he consumes about 81 blunts per day. That was back in 2019, mind you. I think he has since said that he had that one gaffe saying that he was quitting smoking for a second, but then came back and obviously now he's launching his own thing. But as him having the following he has, he could say anything and it ripples. And to join forces with the hemp, forces with the hemp industry is absolutely huge. Thank you, Snoop, for joining the force of the hemp. Hopefully the roundtable one day, but the hemp industry as a whole in general. Big shout out to Snoop-a-Loop.
And just a quick, shout out to any viewers out there. Leave a comment. I'm super curious of what you all would think. What's more wild? The fact that he has an employee to do all of his rolling, or 81 blunts a day or week, even if you broke it down.
Paying somebody to roll your product, and or
how much?
Just paying.
Like it's so. I can't get over. When you look at both of those situations, when you said it, I was just like, that's a wonderful problem to have right there. Like, oh my
I just
gosh.
don't have enough time.
I don't know if I
can
smoke that much.
Like I want to smoke all day. I just don't have enough physical time. I gotta hire somebody. That was literally his thought process for a minute. It was, God, that's a rare thing. I don't think there's but so many people on earth that are.
Well, I think of
that experience with cannabis in general,
and then have that plan of a day-to-day action. Hey,
waking up knowing I'm getting 15, after it.
Terrific. 10, 15 minutes later, here you go. Like that's the power of that situation, and the influence right there is just insane. So great little tidbit you dropped right there, because I had not been thinking about that at all. But again, 81 a day, or having a full-time employee to roll them. Both wild. Let us know what you think. I'm super curious. But no, on that note, I think we could jump over to our first video.
Oh yeah.
Of the joint adventures.
Of our most recent joint adventure, as a matter of fact.
I'm excited to get another breakdown of it, and then we can dive into a little conversation about it.
Absolutely.
Lord knows we're both high. Tell us a little bit about the Heights, a little bit about your spot here.
Heights is about three things. We focus on atmosphere. You guys, you're here, and we'll talk about atmosphere in a little bit, but you've got the parlor up here, you got the pub downstairs, the atmosphere sells itself. Food, we have to have excellent food. You want people coming back. And then service. I think we've got some of the best staff around. And I'm not afraid to say it out loud.
I'm not afraid to say it out loud. Joint adventures are fun as hell.
So I didn't get to go on that one. Were there any big highlights to you? The place looked awesome.
The entire place, as you walk up from paying the parking meter, which I haven't done in ages. Shout out downtown Green Bay. It's beautiful. But walking in there, not knowing how old it is, you just see brick and you're like, old building. But then you walk inside and you see more brick. You're like, oh, really old building. And then you meet the owner, Mr. Brian, and then some of his staff like Ashley. Bro,
they seem fantastic, very welcoming, very personable.
The place is very special, as a matter of fact. From the food to the service and the environment, like the ambiance of the place, all the way upstairs, 3 stories high is the parlor. And I can only imagine some of the folks that have been in there over the course of like the past 180 years. You know what I mean? The Packers were founded 3 buildings away, or maybe a block away,
right down the road.
It kind of makes me wonder, like, wow, not only who's been in this building, but thought I heard something there.
Happens from time to time.
But yeah, the Heights was it was very fun. The food it filled you up, but not only filled you up, you wanted another bite.
What'd you have? I
had the video is talking. Mr. Brian is talking about a bourbon burger, but I in fact had it wasn't a panini. I had a po' boy.
Okay.
Po' boy, and it was freaking amazing.
So my next question: would you have it again?
Oh, I'm going back on a regular basis to see.
That's my breakdown.
Yeah, like whenever he's there, definitely. Like, the point of these joint adventures is integrating not only the company, the dispensary, but really just breaking that stigma as as who we are as people, breaking that stigma with our industry, and then also realizing that, hey, other people got other stuff going on as well, and
Getting
food,
ourselves into the community.
essentially, yes, and sharing that experience with the viewers and amongst each other, having the fellowship. There's nothing better than that, and I can't wait for our next one. And hopefully, after the new year, we might even be able to start rolling out
That'd be fantastic.
locations per month. But
Very
it is joint adventures are really fun to get to know the owner, get to know the people behind it, and then kind of also poke in. Hey, what's your thought on cannabis? What's your thoughts on,
right?
You know what I mean?
Have
I
some
understand you
general
serve alcohol here.
conversations.
Would
Yeah.
you ever serve THC beverages here? Just curious. You know what I mean? Just kind of poke the mindset, make those connections, and find good people.
100%. I mean, I've never been there. It will have to be on my stop list next time I get some downtime up in Green Bay.
You're too
And-
busy, man. Let's be real.
Hey, I'm going to be up there on Monday going to the Packer game.
Oh, shut up,
I
dude.
am.
Well
And
done.
honestly, that actually is a great, super stoked for it. Monday night game, Packers Saints, stoked, right? But it actually ties in. We have another article out that ties right to this. It's all about the NFL. The NFL's new marijuana policy and what it means for athletes and the cannabis industry. So essentially, the NFL raised the THC threshold for positive drug tests from 150 milliliters to 350 milliliters, and reduces.
What does that mean? What does that mean exactly? I could smoke half a joint before and get away with it. Now I can smoke a whole. I'm confused.
I got
with
you. I was like,
the
oh no,
verbiage
I was gonna be like, no, they literally just took the threshold of 150, raised it. But just in terms of how much content you're gonna have in your system coming into the test, whether you're looking at the broader
and that's nanograms per milliliter, I imagine.
per milliliter, yes.
Mhm.
So in the grand scheme, it's going to take a blood test from you, give it a sampling, see how much you have in. I don't know if it is the grand scheme of the percentage, so I don't want to overly speak on it because I don't understand the ins and outs of the NFL's drug tests and how they administer them.
Mhm.
But in the grand scheme, they're raising the allowed amount that you have in your system for when you get a test. And to me, that is fantastic because it opens the doors up for how much they can be consuming. And to me, and it's probably not
That's acceptance, right?
It is. No, it is. And it's not just pure, like, I'm sure there's recreational use in the NFL. But when I think of NFL players, I think of athletes at the top of their game. And at that point, they're going out there week after week for long seasons. Can be 20 plus games. I mean, you're looking at playoffs.
If you're the Chiefs.
Well, hey, Packers are just fine. We're gonna have plenty of games this season, but they're all going out there and they're playing nonstop after their games. They're going home. Sure, they get rest, but guess what they're doing during the week? They're right back on the grind leading up to their next game. And if they can use something natural that is great for the rest and recovery side of things, why wouldn't you? As a former athlete, like I can tell you, post official sports, like when I was in high school or college, when I did sports outside that intramural, I always jumped back to THC post games for recovery, especially when you get the aching muscles, joints, stuff like that. And if you're in a physical contact sport, for me, it was rugby. Like, why wouldn't you use it if it's available? And I understand like the limits side of it because you still want everyone to be behaving professionally. Like as an NFL, you are an organization, you have a representation, and you have an image that represents you, and you want to maintain that. But there's got to be the middle ground, and that's a step towards the middle ground with athletes. It's just super cool to see. Again, as a former athlete, like I understand like it's not going to be open to everybody instantly and stuff, but that's a good right step in my opinion. For an organization as big as the NFL, who has such a big platform to do what they're doing.
Let's be real. The NFL is the biggest organization
crazy
when it comes to entertainment media.
Everywhere.
I believe they have surpassed the WWE long time ago, or maybe not. Maybe I might be.
I don't know
inaccurate
stats.
on that.
I don't know specific stats, but
I'm willing to bet numbers wise.
Look where they're going to play
doing
games. They're going to play games now internationally, like
Germany,
very consistently, and that tells me
Brazil,
more acceptance of them, which means their audience is huge, which means platform getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's a super progressive step for the industry, and I also think for the NFL in terms of their athletes and the support that they can give their athletes. So, and on that same note, they also made it so that positive test counts now reset annually, preventing cumulative penalties from long-term testing. That was something I don't know the exact number, but in the past, they basically just made a tally every time you failed. As you hit more tallies, they upped your penalty or your disciplinary action that was done to you. And now it's every year you get a reset. And I think that's fantastic for the athletes. It's going to create a more open area of conversation around it because you're not worried about like, oh, I'm on my fourth check in 2 years. Maybe that organization's like, you get a fifth one, you're gone. Well, now that system is more reduced and controlled and can be, in my opinion, even held more accountable because you're given the reset and it opens up for dialogue from all parties involved.
And ideally, this opens up for research to be done as well on said players. Some of the most phenomenal human beings on earth when it comes to their physical and mental abilities, and into a split nanosecond, being able to study those guys and approving such a good alternative instead of opiates. Opiates are good when absolutely needed. But a lot of people out there would say there's no circumstance where you need that. There's holistic medicines out there that will absolutely help you. And having a new policy in place that's saying, hey, we're going to reset that annually. I 100% agree with what you were saying also about the opening the dialogue, because now instead of being like, oh shit, I can't smoke for 2 weeks before training camp because I know I got blah blah blah. I believe that having a bit more of an open conversation with those physicians and whatnot, not coming off as like intimidated and scared for getting hit with recourse, but just being more forthcoming with, this is how I approach my wellness. And that seems to be like a cultural push right now with the whole, wanting everything organic and wanting to go back to our grassroots.
But even with the dialogue side of things, you just kind of sparked this in my head. Like with the testing, right? The limits, 150 to 350. For the players who in the past thought, okay, we can't mess with it because we're going to have continuous check marks on our permanent record with the league, right? Well, now I can go and ask our team physicians about this, and any checks that I get is a 1 year carryover. So now if I do get a bust on it where I say I misjudged how much of a dosage I took or something, it's not going to stay with me forever, and it's not going to be super hanging over me. And that just means I can now go to the team physicians and have those conversations. The questions that I have, I can bring back to them. They don't know, they can find out. Education getting built one step of the way at a time until the physicians are knowing all about it. And again, it opens up the door for cannabis to become a key player in sports medicine, which that's just insane. It's in a good way. Like, it's such a insane step from when I was growing up. And I think of like DARE and stuff like that. That's put such a taboo on specifically cannabis. And now you're starting to see it become such a huge player in multiple industries and for the benefits of it. Like, you just don't see it every day, especially, but now coming into 2025, we're starting to be able to see it every day. And
my heart goes out to Ricky Williams. My heart goes out to Josh Gordon.
Exactly,
my heart goes out to anybody that was ever penalized.
Yeah.
Marshawn Lynch was probably penalized a couple of times for smoking weed and popping hot. Percy Harvin, shout out to the kid. He's amazing. Many others have used Megatron. Calvin Johnson has his own cannabis line.
Crippled careers in that sense.
Yes.
Some of the best. JB, who you guys don't ever see on camera, made a comment that Josh Gordon could have been one of the best slot receivers out there. And
could have been a Hall of Famer.
I agree. Like, in that sense. And then you have, in my opinion, something so minor that becomes such a huge blemish on the record that's almost what they're known for. Like, especially you mentioned Ricky Williams. Like,
we saw him get in trouble as we were young, growing up. We saw the ESPN headline, oh, he's in trouble for this and that.
Now they're working towards making it a key player in the sports medicine world.
You know what I mean? Because it is healthier as opposed to the opiate-driven past protocols.
Yeah, and it also is going to set a cool precedent for NBA, NCAA, UFC, all these other big organizations in the sports world. NFL's making a move. They're
ripple effect.
Not just swinging the door open, but small incremental changes equal big overall changes. And I think you're going to see all these other organizations who don't just jump right onto the train with them, but are going to use them as the data point and use that as like, okay, how has it been working? How effectively has it been being like enforced inside the organization and in the teams themselves? Is it something we can mirror back? And then as that time goes on and they get those answers, you will hopefully see more organizations that move into that same space.
Man, I tell you what, it makes the Super Bowl location that much more important. And it makes me miss last year's Super Bowl that much more because it was in Las Vegas where cannabis is legal.
Oh.
Could you like keep throwing the Super Bowl in places where cannabis is legal? We're rolling.
I think even it's not bigger than because the Super Bowl is the Super Bowl. But even then, with the change in the policy, guess where the draft is this year? It's coming to Green Bay.
Coming to Green Bay,
like,
baby.
Where we have established THCA products already with Delta 8, Delta 10, all these different cannabinoids. That's now with a slightly more open door for even players that are coming out to watch a draft, anybody coming in to watch a draft, fans.
Somebody getting drafted.
Yeah.
Somebody's mom or dad that has some achy back and they don't want to be in the draft room too long.
But it just opens the door then even for like trying to get involved with that kind of stuff because now there's not as big of a taboo around it as a whole in the league. And there is still a taboo and stigma. Like I don't work in the NFL and I don't talk to NFL players or representatives. So I imagine there's still taboo in areas as it would be anywhere in the United States or world. But small incremental changes lead to big overall changes.
You're absolutely right. And for anybody that is planning on or even considering coming out to Green Bay for the draft, just know you can find legal, safe cannabis, THCA, all the Delta 9 you need. The Prohibition 9 products are amazing. Just type in the dispensary Green Bay East, the dispensary Green Bay West on Google Maps, and or on, I believe on our own websites, you'll be able to see our flower lineups and other products, as well as our COAs, and verify.
Information is very much readily available. We try to keep it transparent. It's all on there. So I tell people, like, if you're looking for more of a dive into our products and stuff, check our websites out. Or even, like you said, store locations, products, the stuff that we have like that, all going to be on there. You can see any of our stores from Janesville all the way up to Weston, ranging with the Green Bay stores in the middle and the Fox Valley stores right there also. So in that sense, definitely check out that site overall.
And that's local, but moving away from local.
Yeah.
Not everywhere is as cool as Wisconsin. And Pennsylvania in particular is transitioning to our next article, man. That was interesting to read at first.
Yeah, so Pennsylvania's proposed cannabis legalization bill. Essentially, the bill is proposes selling cannabis in state-owned stores managed by the newly expanded Liquor and Cannabis Control Board. Private businesses could still participate in other areas, such as cultivation and consumption lounges. What are your thoughts right off the rip on that?
I'm all for the consumption lounges.
I love the consumption.
I'm all for
lounges if done correctly. Again,
every bar is done correctly, in quote unquote. Every bar is done correctly, right? What? Why the demonization? Well,
I mean, to a second point though about the article, the bill also emphasizes expungement with individuals with cannabis-related convictions and reinvestment into communities disappropriately affected by the war on drugs. And I think that is a hell of a first step in that sense. Fix some of those convictions, get back into the communities, help get them stable, back to normal, and then hopefully that, again, slowly moves off of that stigma and taboo around the industry, because hopefully you can take some of that profit and now resources to be able to do those types of projects and jobs. And now you can tie it all back together in one big full circle. But that will take time. So, but I love anything that's moving to expunge cannabis-related convictions. I think that's a great step. As a person with people in his family that have had charges on them, and especially for minimal amounts back in the 80s, like that sticks forever. So in my head, it's either you're going to go try to get a pardon, which is a timely sense, or you're going to hope that they come through with bills and policies that are going to see and put a spotlight on those situations to help, in my opinion, fix those situations. Because the amount of people out there with that kind of stuff on their record that just hangs over has got to be massive. So I would love to see how this specific aspect of the bill is, one, actually emphasized to the public and to the state side of things, but then also how it's implemented and rolled out and how efficient it is. And if it's like, oh, we're just going to find a few people here and there, and that's who we're going to target, or are we going after the whole range of people? Like, are we going to really try to clear out all of this? And I have no idea how it will work, but I'm super stoked to see it done.
Pennsylvania trying to take some initiative.
Yeah. Like,
trying
to. And keyword is try. All you can do is try. If you're not trying, though, it's just sitting there stagnant, collecting dust and or getting worse. And there's no need for that. So any kind of effort to go into it is great. And I love seeing Pennsylvania make a move in that sense.
It'd be cool if I don't know how that process would work on a federal level.
No idea.
Federal level, expunging everybody who's
but
ever
on a state
possessed
level, even?
less than an ounce or less. If you've ever possessed and gotten arrested for it, hey, it's off your record. I don't know how that process would work.
No idea.
But I feel like it ought to be considered
and
on how to be executed.
They figured out certain parts clearly. I mean,
and that's a state thing, obviously.
It is. But even with them figuring out the liquor and cannabis control board, like, I don't know how that works. I don't know what the conversations are that are going on there, but at least it's something with a governmental like title that ties it to a legitimate organization, right? And it is there to hopefully do the enforcement of this correctly, correct? That's a first step. Another step that they took was they created the Office of Social Equality, of Social Equity. That's a department. That's jobs being created. One, I'm always a fan of jobs being created if it's effective. Now we're going to see how they help with different entrepreneurs that want to get into the industry and into the spaces to help give them the support that they need. If that works good and it does the job that they're saying they're going to do, it's a benefit to everybody involved. Economy-wise, it's creating jobs. It's helping open up more businesses. It's helping drive that to create more jobs in itself. It's bringing more attention and focus to the industry as a whole in a good spotlight rather than a bad actor like before or a bad spotlight. So it's cool. It's just exciting. I'm interested to see how they take it on a public level, how they roll it out on a public level. Like you said, how does that work with the federal side of things? I don't know, but that is a common conversations that even here in Wisconsin, like I get asked all the time, how can you sell this stuff? And it's like, well, here's the breakdown from the federal level. Here's the breakdown from the state level. You have the 2018 Farm Bill. You have Wisconsin Statute 9455. So in that sense, like, how are these going to go hand in hand? Is it going to be a unifying effort to be like, okay, let's see how we can help you guys with this from a federal level? Or is it you guys are on your own and we're going to see how it shakes out in your state and we're going to be the observers to collect data on just the data? I don't know, but I'm always, I said it earlier, I'm all about progressive steps forward. I think that's a good step. Again, shout out Pennsylvania and any of our Pennsylvania stores there that get to see how that all plays out. I'm sure I'll be able to have some conversations with all of you just to kind of get your side of it and how it's all been rolling out and kind of going into effect. So yeah.
Squirrel Hill, Homestead, Pittsburgh, downtown.
Let's go.
Come on, baby. Black and yellow.
Oh.
I mean, they got plenty of opportunities to get some of the best THCA and Delta 9 products alongside the other cannabinoids that the dispensary offers right there in Pennsylvania. And to see movement there, it really does make our ears perk up anytime it's in one of these regions where we
already have establishments because we're already trying to help be a face of the industry and the push forward. But then to see in the places that we're trying to do that, to see others and not outsiders, but like outside of our company doing the same thing and bringing more and more spotlight. It's the whole, like, we are one industry. I always say to people, like, I won't bash other companies and stuff because we're all in this together and we're all trying to get to the same point. So rather than us fight the current, while fighting each other and pushing each other back on the current, let's all make one wall to move up that current together. And these are the types of movements that we need to see for that to come through. So I love it. Again, shout out to them. One step at a time. But no, on that note, that's kind of our whole Pennsylvania breakdown
Yeah.
of the article. That's we kind of did a little bit of a coverage of the NFL side of things, the restructuring, the Pennsylvania. We are going to actually dive in. We have one of our testimonies. We have a new one coming for you, Tara. We're going to put that on for you guys to check out, and then we'll come back, have a little conversation about the testimonies, and then a few other end of year going ons with our company, and even a little bit of looking forward to next year. Yeah.
Well, if I was still in pain management, because I used to be in pain management. I was in the Navy, and my tendon wasn't healing, and I have a muscle disease that they were diagnosing, and I ended up there, and I was literally drooling all over myself on the couch, like trying to take care of my kid. And now, it's like I'm a completely different person, and the cannabis has attacked the inflammation that causes my pain.
Inflammation is a bitch.
That's the truth.
Especially when it's cold.
Yeah. What a good conversation from Tara.
Seriously.
I mean, it's always nice to have follow-up conversations with our customers who use our products for a wide range of stuff. Just to, yes, again, I always bring it back to there are some for recreation, but when I see it hit home for people in a medicinal sense, to me, it's the most rewarding, and that's coming from somebody who originally joined up with our company, being like, "Oh, I get to sell a bunch of recreational cannabis products to a bunch of stoners." Changed very quickly. And now, since we've been jumping back into the testimonies, and I get to see all the stories from whether it be over in Virginia or in Wisconsin or Pennsylvania, like it's just cool to see the consistency of it around, and to see that what we are here for and the mission we're here for is helping and working with people.
I initially thought the same thing when I first joined.
Yeah, I mean,
but having since learned that everybody walks in with a purpose,
yeah,
and it's typically to alleviate something. And if you just sit back and listen, 'tis the beauty of our industry. It's a wellness thing. It's not a sport coat.
Nope.
You know what I mean? It is about
the individual
actually
solving
100%.
the problem, not the symptom.
Exactly.
That's big. And again, we can't always solve the whole problem, but if I can help alleviate anything of the whole problem, whether it be insomnia, pain management, just achy joints,
social
anxiety, any of it, like I can't solve it and take it away forever, but if I can help you with real-time help to help your quality of life and day-to-day living experiences better, that's what we're here for. So the testimonies really bring that back home and hammer it to us. So we have more than the one. Make sure to check them all out.
Absolutely. And if you yourself have used a dispensary product and have even used a product from the black market or the street before, and you've noticed that difference, I want to hear from you. We want to hear from you. And we want to talk about why it is so important that having our industry regulated the right way is going to be the best beneficiary thing in the long term for everybody.
Exactly. And they're out there. I know you're out there. I talked to plenty of customers around the state.
Link is in the socials. Our the
We're very
dispensary.com.
flexible in how we try to do them and how we work with them. We understand that some stories, not everyone's open to sharing, but if you are open to sharing with us, hit us up.
Write us as well. You can put your right there in the comments of this video. You can drop your own testimony if you'd like, and we'd like to get a hold of you.
Absolutely.
If you don't have the means of going to our website and filling out that, like, if you want to do a video log, you can do that. But we will get a hold of anybody that is willing to share, and we want to help explore it. Like we said, it's a brick wall moving with all the other companies. All the other hemp derived companies out there are ideally doing the same thing. Yeah. That way we actually have a solid foundation to stand on.
Straight up.
It's the people, man.
The legal and political atmosphere around the industry is always going to be shifting. It's always going to be uncertain. These testimonies can help give credence and support to what we're aiming to do and what, honestly, a lot of you are wanting us to do, which is the help side. So,
right.
Yeah, all I can say is hit us up. Let us know. Shoot us a message. We'll figure it out from there, and we would love to hear from you all.
And don't be surprised if we approach you on the street doing our street interviews, asking, "Hey, what's your take? And have you used, the dispensary? And if not, we're going to, of course, make sure that you get lined up to partake if you'd like." but we definitely want to know the difference between a safe product and a non-safe product, and how that genuinely affects the mental and physical. But without the products, they don't get the effects.
No. And honestly, I'm going to jump in here quick. Because we are in that season, a lot of people look at the winter season a little bit gloomy. You get a lot of snow like today, a lot of cloud coverage, all that. Not at the dispensary. We're doing a whole end of year intro to next year closeout sale on a bunch of our different products. We want to do a little shout out to the customers and kind of ring in the new year with a bang. So make sure you stop in. We have a bunch of products, a huge variety from 10% to 25%, depending on the store and the product. But all kinds of different options, whether it be cards or edibles or disposables or flour. I mean, just stop in and check it out. It's going on now until January 6th. So if you haven't already, go in there and take a peek. And in that same sense, because we're coming into the end of the year, we're also coming into a new year. And a new year means new products, right? So with that to happen, we're looking at some of our products to retire and be able to make shelf space to bring in some new products for all the customers. And we love to keep the options fresh out there. It's something that we have done in the past. I think there are definitely viewers or customers of ours who have seen it in the past in terms of the retiring strains and whatnot. But for this year, we are actually looking to retire, use just a little tidbit of some of the items that we're going to be retiring to the vault, which are going to be our 0.5 grams of our grape D10 disposables, our 0.5 gram and 4 grams of our cherry pie, cookies and cream, rose, dream, sour, apple, and watermelon of our D8 disposables. We're doing some edibles like our cookies, D10 cookies, our D8 chocolate chip cookies. A bunch of dabs are going to be retired across the board, whether they be D10, D8, D8 with Evenas, a THCP dab, a huge selection of our CBD tinctures. Like I said, we're retiring a bunch of different stuff. Stop in at our store. Once it's gone, it's gone. So make sure you stop in at your local stores, see if they have anything that you are a huge fan of that is going to be retiring. And then if it is, I'd highly recommend just stocking up on it while you can, while they have it in the shops, because once it's gone, it's gone. Maybe comes back somewhere down the line, but no guarantees on that. So I would say on the broad spectrum of it, watch out for our closeout end of the year deals going on, and then also take a peek at all of our retiring products. And if any of your faves are on there, make sure you pick it up.
Out with the old, in with the new.
Exactly right.
Like the phoenix that rises from the ashes. True. Shout out Harry Potter, where I first seen that.
Oh, I love Harry Potter. I've got one more to go. I watch them every year. Fun fact for everybody. I'm not joking. If you start the first Harry Potter on Halloween and you watch one every week, it takes you right to Christmas. What a way to ring in the holidays. I do it every year. It's my go-to. Highly recommended if you're a Harry Potter fan.
What?
I don't
appreciate
catch you off guard a little bit.
No, seriously, that's
straight up.
Fucking
I'm
awesome that
you
you just
Halloween
laid that out for
Christmas,
everybody in
8
America
movies
to hear.
It'll carry you all the way through.
Oh my gosh, that's precious. That is awesome. Just as awesome as our snow caps, our smooth drift pre-rolls, our new soft cookies.
Oh, the new product.
All the new products that, just like you're talking doom and gloom of all the stuff that we're retiring. But just like Kobe Bryant's jersey had to go up in the rafters of Staples Center, which is now Crypto Arena. God bless California. They had to retire for a reason, to be acknowledged as greats.
Yep. And
with that being said, there's a draft happening in April here, in which there's going to be some greats drafted. And that's going to be in April, the new year, just like the dispensary's rolling out some brand new draft picks.
Real quick, is I didn't catch if you had mentioned it. I think you did right off the rip. The smooth drift.
Yeah.
Something I really want to make a point about these, because the smooth drifts, fantastic. Our THCA and CBD pre-rolls, highly recommend. If you haven't tried them, go on and try one. All of our stores have them. Very, very smooth, organic effects that will kick in. And to me, it's just very, very functional. I love them. It's one of our newer products. And I just cannot preach enough. So if you haven't had a chance to try our THCA CBD pre-rolls, the smooth drifts, get in the stores, grab one, try it out, especially with the holidays coming up. Those gloomy nights of just not gloomy, but the chill, relax, comfy nights at home. Smooth drift might be perfect for it. But yeah, all kinds of new products. Watch for them. Jacob here gets to work very hand in hand with them. So
we
love getting to hear about any of the new stuff coming through.
Some of the new strains that we've been dealing with: the Holly Berry Lemon Bars, Banjo, Blue Skittles, Violet Fog, and then a brand new batch of staple strain Orange Push Pop.
Oh, all right. I get the OPP Orange Push Pop question all the time, so it's good to know.
It's amazing how the end of the year is picking up, and it's going to be just as quick of a rollover into the new year.
Which strain are you looking forward to the most?
I haven't tried Blue Skittles or Banjo yet.
No, not that you've tried though. Which one are you looking forward to? The
Banjo.
Most? Really? All right.
Absolutely.
Blue Skittles. Blue Skittles is the one that pops off to me. I'm like, I hope it's extremely tasty.
When you see it, you'll know why I chose Banjo.
Interesting.
When you see
all right.
you'll know exactly why.
All right. I look forward to that. And just like I look forward to, I know we've talked about this before on podcasts and it's not quite yet, but I do love to throw a little projection into the future year we have coming, which is talking about a couple of the events that we do have coming up. They're not coming up immediately. It will be springtime, but we just want to, I always love laying the seeds out there for everyone to keep an eye out open for them. We have our golf outing, which was at Royal Scott this last year. It was a full course, great time. It was an awesome opportunity to raise funds for the May Foundation. We will be looking to do that again. So if you have any golf enthusiasts in your life or you are yourself, just watch on our website or social medias for any information that comes out in the future for that. And then just like that, we have our staple car show. We did it 2 years. We did it last year and this year now. Both have been great. We're always looking to take it to the next level. It's a great community involvement opportunity. You can come and check it out. Take a look at, I always say, look at the pride of the car owner's eyes because there's so much work that goes into cars. And this is their chance to get to show their puppies off to the public. And we always love to be able to put them in a spot to bring in all kinds of eyes to see them, test out some of the local food options that we bring out, stuff like that. Just keep an eye out. If you're a car enthusiast, you like going to car shows across the state, be watchful. We will end up posting about that stuff too, coming up in the near future. So yeah, I think that's a lot of the going ons of the company.
Yep.
I know it's end of the year. I'm not going to go too into detail about any of those, but just like I said, watch for the new products, go check out the closeout deals, look for the retiring products. The new stuff is going to be great. I'm excited for all the new products. I'm looking forward to the events that we will have coming and putting on this next year. Looking forward to the draft. No, it's great, man. This is it's been a good year. And I think this is a good topper to the end of the 2024 season and our podcasting of this year. So won't be back till next.
Very well said.
Yeah.
I am always so impressed with how articulated you are, dude. Like seriously.
I appreciate that very much.
You speak very well. And thank you for being here this 2024, man. I know your job is not easy. And thank the viewers. Thank you for being here. When you're able to be here.
Tuning in, sharing, watching, just what you guys do keeps us going. So
absolutely. And the industry as a whole. Very grateful for this industry. Very grateful for the dispensary kind of trailblazing. The U.S. Hemp Roundtable finally making moves. Snoop a Loop joining the forces.
It'll be a big year coming 2025.
2025 should be lining up massive. And the dispensary wants to make every part of your 2025 what it should be. So if there's any sort of part of life that you feel may be lacking, and mind you, not trying to improve performance all the time. Sometimes we got to improve mindset.
Yep.
If you improve mindset, you improve performance.
Exactly right.
You know what I mean? And the dispensary helps improve mindset, which in turn helps improve performance.
Will it into existence? You know what I mean? Mindset matters.
April with the draft, dispensary Green Bay East, Green Bay West. If you can't get a hotel in Green Bay, you got to go a little further south to Kaukauna. Guess what? The dispensary Kaukauna. A little further south in Appleton, the dispensary Appleton. Like wherever you want to stay, come draft time.
There's options.
There's options, baby. And it's safe, veteran, legal, THCA, Delta 9. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm stoked. Looking forward to the draft, man.
And we're going to be live on scene as well, which is going to be.
Yes, we will. So be
that's going to be
a
one-time, one-on-one experience right there.
Yes, it is.
Live at the draft. Maybe not necessarily in the building, but definitely.
First time ever.
Yes.
It will be a great experience.
Shout out Channel 5. We was on Channel 5 this morning.
Yep. If you don't,
that was pretty fun.
Yeah. If you don't, make sure you tune in or check out our local expert spots that we do every third Thursday of the month. quick little morning segment and give a little bit of background or information about the company and ongoing. It's kind of like the drop at the end of this podcast. So yeah.
Very fun working with you, brother.
Yeah. And again, shout out. Thank you everybody for tuning in and watching. I hope you all have a happy holidays. I think this is a great time to do one last thank you and shout out to some specific customers of ours who entered our giveaway and got a chance to take away some cool stuff from us. So let's take a peek at the winners of that.
Closing out 2024 the right way. These people are, let me tell you something.
The real winners.
That's what I'm talking about. Congratulations to these people. That's what I'm talking about. 2024.
We're done. So I'm gonna.
Are we?
You guys are still on. You just gotta go to the show, like, comment, subscribe, and we're out.
Well, thank you for coming again. We appreciate you stopping by. If you want to like, comment, share, subscribe, you can do that. You can also look in Trevor. Bam! That just